You
Unless
can
you're going
assert
to do
that it's
that,
right.
then
Go
you can't
ahead,
prove
explain.
anything.
Explain your point.
No, I'm waiting for you to explain why it's wrong, and you can't do it. So I'm wondering why you're laughing.
I'll explain it to you by letting you explain it. What
No,
is
no, no,
volume?
that's not
Milo,
how you do it.
That's just two-faced. It's not straightforward. Just differentiate between weight, mass, and volume. Why did you laugh when Anthony?
I'll tell you right now.
Okay, go.
So let's look up the definition of volume.
Hang on.
I'll tell you the definition of volume.
Let's leave it until we go live. Let's not do it now. Let's do it when we're live.
I thought you weren't going through this, Anthony. I'm not spending a whole day talking about it.
All right. I'll drop it just for the sake of Ranty having a fair...
No. I just don't want. You know,
I'm not being funny. I'll just say that I don't.
Ranty, you can take a step away from the computer.
However, I realise that Ranty's been patient for the whole show, and on that basis, I'll drop it. I'll not drop. I'll just place hold, but I'll just let Ranty have the mic because I don't want to hog it.
If you want to settle it quickly, volume comes in when we're talking about density. So that's when you relate mass and volume, when you're talking about density. But when you're talking about weight, there, like Arwen said it kind of correctly. He left out the specific force, but yeah, it's the mass times a force. Usually a specific force.
Well, mass is normally in kilograms. Weight's normally.
That's right. Mass is always in grams. I think they have some explanation in the metric system because you guys use something different for weight. Like you guys say stones and things like that. But we also use kilograms for weight too, which is weird.
Mass in kilograms, weight in newtons. Mass is always the same. Mass is always constant. Doesn't vary, but the weight can.
Anthony, I've been fiddling with your mic the whole time because you're kind of getting further away and you're not at all consistent with this mic for some reason. So now you're really quiet.
I thought we were offline.
Yeah, but we are. But I'm just telling you because I'm just letting you know that I'm having to turn you up and turn you up and turn you up because you get quieter and quieter. Then when you get into a conversation, you blast out because you decide that you need to be in front of the mic.
Yeah, sorry. Just because I want to eat Milo.
You're gonna eat me. You can't even tell me why volume has anything to do with weight.
Who?
You.
I can.
Yeah.
But hang on, you're the one that laughed. You're the one that needs to explain the giggles.
Okay.
A
volume is the amount of space that a substance or object occupies.
Sure.
What does that have to do with weight, my dude?
It's density, isn't it? Mass per unit volume.
Yeah. So the mass is always going to be the same, but the weight will vary. The density will vary based on how much volume it takes. So like a ton of feathers and a ton of bricks take up different volumes, but the mass is always the same.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwen, Mark Doxey, Ranty Flat Earth, Sleeping Warrior, Was Not Was, The Plain Truth, Milo, and I think it's Paul. Good to have you all.
Hello.
Hello, gentlemen.
Yeah, I have a question real quick. I have a question for Anthony.
Be honest, Ranty's got
No. It doesn't matter. I have a question. It's a quick question. Tell us how a ton of feathers and a ton of bricks weigh differently. Explain that. You were explaining that earlier. Can you continue, please?
Right. So, do we agree that the phraseology here is important? It's to do with the specific words, right?
Do a ton of feathers and a ton of bricks weigh the same? Yes or no?
Is the mass of a ton of feathers the same as the mass of a ton of bricks?
Yes.
Right. So if the mass is the same for both, the only difference is the volume, correct?
Is the weight the same? Yes or no?
Hold on, he's giving you an answer, Milo, and now you've re-asked the question. So it's got qualifications attached. He's given the qualifications and now readdressed the question, which is perfectly reasonable.
Yes, the volumes are different. How does that affect the weight?
Right, well, that's... Hold on. On the last show, Milo, he said volume when describing this exact thing, and you started laughing your head off.
No. Hold up. He said...
No, yes. He said the word volume. Now he's tied it down specifically to the difference in volume.
Okay. So, he said...
So was this not funny?
What?
Milo, was this not funny then? Because you now seem to be discussing it in detail rather than laughing about it. What was the issue? Why were you laughing last time?
I'm going to tell you. Can I talk? Am I muted?
Well, you don't sound like you're laughing anymore. It doesn't seem so funny anymore. I don't get it. Why aren't you laughing now if we're discussing the same thing and it's so hysterical? Shut up! Why, when we are discussing the exact same thing, have you not got the tone of humour in your voice? Why aren't you laughing now?
Because the punchline is coming a little bit later.
We've had the same punchline. He said the word volume. That was the word, specifically that word that you laughed your head off at.
In response to what?
He said volume.
In response to what?
You've just said the same word, and we've had a definition of volume, and you're not laughing. I'm trying to establish why not.
What was the question I asked?
Don't ask me something. Tell me why you're now not laughing when talking about the same thing.
Because the punchline is coming a bit later.
We've had the punchline. The word he said specifically was volume. Then you laughed your head off. Now we're talking about volume, and you're not laughing. Okay, Milo? So I'd like an explanation for that, because you're just dancing around it.
Because volume is not the difference between mass and weight. And Anthony said that it was.
Did he?
Right.
Yes, he did.
This is the reason why I was very particular with the words. So we both...
No. Hold up. I just got to
No, Milo, not hold up. Just shut your mouth. You've made a load of assertions. They're being addressed. Now shut up.
Right.
I haven't made one assertion yet.
Well, you have. The assertion you made was that you laughed when I said the difference between mass and volume was the weight. The mass and weight was the volume. That was the assertion. Right.
Yeah. No, your assertion is that.
And I'm going to try and answer it. So just stick with me while I get to the end of it. And we've both already agreed that the mass is the same for a ton of bricks and a ton of feathers. Agreed?
Yes.
Right. So then your question is the weight the same? Is that right?
Yes.
So,
and you said no, it's not.
Yeah, because the mass is always measured in kilograms and the weight is measured in newtons, is it not? Subject to your gravitational constant.
So what you're saying is that the weight is not the same between a ton of bricks and a ton of feathers. Yes or no?
Correct. According to your science.
No. I'm asking you.
The mass is a constant, but the weight is a variable.
Is the weight the same between the two? A ton of bricks and a ton of feathers.
The variable.
No, they're different. Okay,
we can move on now. Hold on. Why would you assert such nonsense, Anthony? I don't get it.
Because the mass between a ton of feathers. The mass between a ton of feathers. The mass between a ton of feathers and the mass between a ton of bricks is always the same. The mass, it never changes, right? But the weight is subject to the
neither does the weight.
Gravity.
The only difference is the volume it occupies with it.
Right.
That is called density, the relative density. The only factor is the volume. It has nothing to do with the weight.
Yeah, mass per unit volume.
Let me find an answer, and then what I'll do is I'll give way, because I know Ranty's dying to speak about stuff, so I want to give way on that.
I'm not bothered. Arwen's destroying the show as it is single-handedly. Let him carry on.
Nobody's destroying anything. This is a great conversation. What are you talking about?
If you think so, everyone else thinks it's fucking boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Right, here's a good example. 8th grade science. Right, hang on. So, share screens. All right.
Anthony, nothing you say is gonna prove to anyone that a ton of bricks and a ton of feathers weigh differently.
Right, we just agreed. Did we not just agree? All I've done is I've typed in weight versus mass, and I've looked on images and come up with this. So we just agreed that the mass.
I've already told you it's a ton of bricks and a ton of feathers.
Right, and
how can they weigh differently?
Didn't we agree that the mass would always be a ton?
Oh my god!
Did we agree that or not?
Can we move on?
Mass is not expressed in weight.
No. Did we agree or not that the mass would always be the same?
Can we move on? They weigh the same, Anthony. That's it.
No, look.
Get over it. They weigh the same.
Look, the mass is always going to be 56 kilograms of this person. But the weight, depending on the gravitational constant, will vary based on the person's proximity of where they're at or whatever.
I've told you that they weigh a ton.
Right. So the mass is always going to be a ton. We agreed.
They weigh a ton. Therefore, their weight is a ton each. Do you understand this?
So in this example, why is the weight 90 newtons on that one, but 560 newtons on that one, but the mass is always the same?
Move on. You haven't done any math. Stop lying.
That doesn't make any sense. Anthony,
you're looking at it on
can't
screen.
weigh mass. Okay, you can only measure weight by applying a force to the mass, causing the pressure that can be translated into weight.
Right, but the question was, does a ton of feathers weigh the same as a ton of bricks?
Yeah.
Correct?
Because the weight,
we agreed that the mass will always be the same.
Oh, sorry.
But you wanted to know about the weight. Well, the weight varies depending on this gravitational constant.
No, the mass varies. This is nonsense. I'm sick of hearing it. Right, Ranty, have you got your stuff ready to rock and roll? Because I'm really keen for you to.
I haven't. No, I'm just listening to you guys.
Well, I'm happy to draw an end to this conversation and have it come up another time, because a full hour of it on the last show, and it'll be a full hour of it on this show if we don't move on.
Well, yeah, let them finish it out. Let them duke it out.
Yeah, let's finish it out. A ton of feathers and a ton of bricks, they weigh differently, according to Anthony.
Right, let me just draw a line under this. Right, a ton is a ton. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's sand, feathers, bricks. If it's a ton, it's a ton.
It does. If you use the word mass.
Nathan, it does. It does. Nathan, it does.
Right, no, I'm not going to let you constantly ridicule Anthony because he's trying to make an assertion that is slightly different.
Slightly different. Wrong? You mean wrong?
Yeah, okay, I mean wrong.
I've got it on the same
screen. What Anthony's trying to say.
Let's move on, Anthony.
The weight does vary. It doesn't vary depending on the volume, though, but it does vary.
That's the same thing like earlier you asserted that something that is 1 meter high has a different height when it is further away. It's ridiculous.
No. Weight is specifically defined as the force times the mass. So it can vary depending on the force.
On their model.
Yeah, but that's not what Anthony's saying.
I know, I understand that.
So then we can move on. He's saying that a ton of feathers and a ton of bricks weigh differently. So we can move on based on that. I think Ranty has something that he wants to show if he's even here still. Can we just let him do that? I'd rather do that.
Ranty's gone because he's probably sick of this conversation and just thought, sod it, I'll just go then, because he's been waiting in the sidelines to show something that's absolutely glorious for ages, and he's just got so sick of this conversation that he's disappeared, and who can blame him?
You know, Nathan, I thought the question that I gave was going to be an obvious question, and I didn't think it would have taken this long to
Well, that was why I said in the interval, I said, let's not dwell on it, because Ranty wants to speak. And then you started off with your first question, which was, I got a quick question for you. And I was like...
Anthony, you were... The answer to my question was they weigh the same.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Just before you go through the... Hold on. Before you go through the same thing again. Mark, what did you say? Sorry.
Let's get Ranty back in.
Yeah, I'd love to. I can't force Ranty to come in, though. You know, that's up to him. Hopefully he'll rejoin. If he does, I'll immediately give him the mic. If he doesn't, then so be it, you know.
Ranty. I'll hear him.
Yeah, show us what you got, Ranty.
He's not here. He's dropped. He's dropped. I tried to muscle in for him, and it didn't work, so he's just buggered off, and I don't blame him.
And I did say right at the beginning of this show that I didn't want to get into it. I wanted to pass the mic to Ranty because I was under the impression that he wanted to present something. Perhaps that wasn't true. Maybe he just wanted a subject change.
I've got to correct something here. We don't actually know the reason why Ranty's dropped. He might have just dropped because he wanted to make a brew, and he's going to come back when this conversation's over because he's sick of it. So he may just rejoin and go hello, and not realise that we've all assumed he's pissed off. He might not be.
Yeah, he might be back. He might just be back.
All right, so are we going to go back to this downward acceleration force, or is that done?
Okay, no, so Nathan, earlier, I mean Anthony, sorry. Anthony, earlier you agreed with the definition that Nathan gave for a force.
Definition for what?
For a force.
You'd have to remind me, what was the definition he gave? Oh, the change in velocity, the change in direction or speed. Right. Yeah, I agree.
Okay then. So when you see an object change in direction or speed, you have to conclude that there is a force behind this change in direction
only if you
or
can
speed.
Prove that there's a force there. Only in maths does that work. So, you got force equals mass times acceleration, right?
We can throw that out if you don't like it.
You get a mass that changes direction. Therefore, you have a force according to you.
Okay, so we can throw that out. I want to know what your definition of force is. What is your other definition of force?
Something you can prove. I'm not changing my position.
That's not a definition.
You asked me what's my definition, and I'm saying that if you're going to say there's a force there, I want you to show that there is actually a force. Now you're going to do it with maths, and you're going to say that force equals mass times acceleration.
Anthony, do you understand that when you define force to mean anything that you can prove, you've just created a million different forces? So the keyboard that's on my lap, I can prove it's there. Therefore, right, so that's a force.
But what you're doing is you're going to say that someone's punched you in the face, but you can't prove that anyone has. But you've now got a black eye.
I'm asking you, how do you define force?
Something you can prove. I'm not going to change my position.
So hey Anthony, I got a similar request. Prove mass.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm going there.
What's mass got to do with it?
Prove it.
If it's not something you can prove, then it doesn't exist.
So are you asking me to prove it empirically or scientifically or mathematically?
Scientifically. Prove
scientifically,
mass.
Following the scientific
prove
method,
that
right?
Matter has mass and that it has different masses. Prove it.
Well, the only way to do that in the scientific model, in their model or in their current model, would be to vary the gravitational pull. Well, I wouldn't be able to do it scientifically, would I?
Oh,
here we go.
You see my problem now? This is what I told you about.
Your problem.
If you're going to hold everything to this single standard, that you're not going to scientifically prove it, yeah, you can pretty much wave 90% of all knowledge away. All of it.
Well, that's my argument, though, not yours.
Yeah, and now I'm using your argument against you. So you have no proof of mass. So I'm basically forbidding you now to use that word in the future. Is that okay with you?
Fine. I never used the word mass anyway.
It's something else now.
I never used the word mass anyway.
I don't think Anthony can give anything to this conversation. I don't think he believes in anything.
No, I'm saying that if you've got a force that you're claiming to exist but can't prove that it's there, you haven't got a force.
Yeah, but how do you define force if you don't even know what force is? You don't even. So what is force?
A change in direction, right?
Okay,
so if you're going to make a change in direction,
whenever you see a change in direction, you have to conclude based on your definition of force that there is a force present. Do you understand that?
But you're only applying a mathematical concept to it.
Stop. We're not talking about math anymore. We're talking about a definition, which was a change in direction.
Yeah. So
once there is a change, hold up. Once there is a change in direction, you have to conclude that there's a force because that's how you've defined force.
No, because you presuppose you're affirming the consequence.
So then you cannot define force that way.
Yeah.
Well, that's your definition of force.
And if you can't define force, then you can't define mass.
Something you can prove.
Oh, really? How? How do you prove mass?
No, I'm answering Milo's question.
No. How do you prove mass? Is it perhaps by weighing it?
I want to go back to Milo's. I don't want to talk about mass.
Oh, yeah, I know you do, but I'm not going to let you.
He doesn't want to talk about that. Let's stick to something we can prove. Something we can prove. That's the definition of force, huh?
Right, so the definition... Nathan, can you present my screen?
Yeah, sure. you're up.
Right, so which one should we go with? Should we go? I've just typed in definition of force, and it comes up with two different types. So we've got either the strength or energy as an attribute of physical action or movement, or we've got the coercion or compulsion, especially with the threat of violence. So it's not going to be that one. It's going to be this one, isn't it? The strength or energy as an attribute of physical action or movement. Let's focus on the word physical action, right? We've got a change in speed. Is that the physical action?
Yep.
Or is that the movement?
Mm-hmm.
Both.
It's both. If it's both, where's the physical element of it?
That means both.
Where's the physical element to it then?
It's moving. There's physical action. You're moving a physical object.
So you're going to apply that one then? Movement.
Can be either. Yeah. That's
okay.
why it says or.
It says or. Do you see? What do you? What are you trying to get at? And is this the first time you've ever seen the definition of force?
It just happens to be the one I've picked. We can go for a different one if you like. Would you?
What is wrong with you?
I'm just trying to apply your definitions in this context and see if we get to a point.
That definition of force, even that that ordinary definition that you found on Google applies to what Arwen is talking about.
Oh, all right. So I went to a different one because I felt there was a bit of a resistance there. You didn't like that particular one, maybe?
It doesn't matter which one you choose. They're all going to come together.
So, all right. So this one says a force is a push or a pull upon an object. Now, if you're going to claim that there's a downward acceleration force, is it a push or a pull?
Whether we know whether it's a push or a pull does not take away from the fact that it's a force. Do you understand?
But I'm asking, is there evidence that there is a push or a pull?
There would have to be if there's a force.
Yeah, there would have to be. You're right. But can you prove one?
Nope. There's a force present, right?
No.
Hold on.
I'm saying
no. Hold on, Milo. Don't just affirm the consequent. He's got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
This
is the whole.
Yeah, he's got you. Got you completely.
Part. Yeah.
You're saying that there would have to be
a fine. You can have.
And I agree. So where's the push or the pull?
Where's the push or the pull? You tell me.
Well, you've let go of the brick.
Yeah.
It's falling down. So you're saying because there's a movement, there must be a force on it. So I'm asking, what's the push or the pull? And you're saying, what? Gravity?
The downward acceleration.
Downward acceleration force, right. So the downward acceleration force, is it a push or is it a pull? Because it has to be there, and I'm asking you to identify it.
It could be either.
Hold on. No, it can't.
Why can't it?
Well, because
all right, let me jump in real quick.
Well,
go ahead, Travis.
If I push a car, you can see the force is me. I'm pushing it. If I drive the car,
if you pull it, the force is still you.
Right. But there's a force there that you can identify.
Two different things going on, though, isn't there? One is pulling, the other is pushing. So which one is it?
They're both forces, though.
Yeah, that may be true, but which one applies? Which one applies? Is it a push or is it a pull? Which one is it?
Hold on.
It's either one.
Are you ready? Hold on.
The point is that it's there, right?
It's hard for you to understand.
No. I don't understand how it can be either a push or a pull. Is the brick being pulled towards the earth or pushed towards the earth? Which one is it?
Either one. It's a force.
Right. That might be the case. But we're talking specifically about here on Earth, and I want you to tell me which one it is.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead,
Travis. Go on.
Okay, we're talking about two different things for the moment. Let me be specific. If I'm driving my truck right now, am I pushing or pulling my truck?
Well, we know that the force will be the truck, right?
Right, it's the engine, but is my engine pushing or pulling?
Is it in the front or is it in the back?
Okay, it can go either way, can't it? My engine is pulling me along, or my engine is pushing me along. Yes.
But these guys are making up a false.
Right?
Hold on. What I'm saying is that if you change the situation and you get out and push my truck, you are pushing it. If you get out and harness yourself and pull my truck, you are pulling it. You're not pushing it. So
we agree that there's a force there that we can prove.
Okay, but listen, right. But listen now, when I drop a brick, that brick is now in the situation of my engine. It's both.
No. There's no engine.
Yes. No, listen.
It could be either.
It could be either.
No, it's neither.
It can be either.
Where's the identifiable force on the brick?
That's not the issue.
Either. All these forces have
hold on, Travis. Hold on, Milo. Why isn't that the issue, Travis? That's absolutely the issue.
Because we don't have an engine. We don't have something that we can pinpoint.
That's the point. That's the point Anthony's making.
No. I know. It's
we've called it the downward acceleration.
There's no force.
We've called it the downward acceleration.
Force.
Yeah, and I'm asking you to identify
force of gravity.
It.
Downward acceleration, force of gravity. Yeah, you're just saying downward acceleration, ignoring that last little bit that you adhere to.
Yeah, well, supposedly
I'm going for the general one. Arvin agrees with it.
It forces it down, so it's those words are
Profit.
They don't really count here. So
no. The point is that we can identify the force when it's the engine in the vehicle, right? We know that the force is either pushing.
Yeah, but you can't say whether the engine is pushing or pulling.
If it's in the front,
but that doesn't matter.
If it's in the back,
there is proof of motion.
How?
And with the Earth in a stationary setting,
are the wheels spinning, pulling the road back, or is it pushing the road back?
Present to create the force. So what I'm saying is, if you let go of the brick, where's your engine?
The downward acceleration force. That is the engine.
Yeah, but there's no proof of motion. There is no proof. I know. Hey, disclaimer, been saying it from the start. You can't prove it. You can only point at the effect and say, look, it responds exactly like acceleration, like a force. And I'm already conceding, saying, okay, I'll just call it the upward acceleration like effect.
You know, I had to take a class to learn how engines
functions
work.
Exactly like force, has all the properties of it, and you can test it out, you can compare it, works exactly like this. There's simply no proof of accelerating motion of the Earth itself. That is all. So you can scientifically prove it, but it responds exactly like force.
Well, because it is a force, it's just the question is what's creating that force, but it certainly is a force.
Yeah, you can establish, you can acknowledge, hold up, you can acknowledge a force without knowing whether it's pulling, whether it's pushing, or whether...
The only time you can acknowledge a force is when you
can only assume it.
There. It's like when you get two magnets.
Down.
Two magnets, right?
Is the magnet, hold up, is the magnet pulling or pushing?
Either. It doesn't matter which way around you put the magnet. No, but you know that there's a magnet there to prove it, right?
You know that there's a force, though.
Hold on, magnets, hold on. Magnets can attract and repel. They have two different things that they can do, though, don't they? They can repel stuff, and they can attract stuff. So pushing or pulling can be quantified with magnets. Whether it's pulling something towards it or pushing something away from it, it can be quantified. Would you agree, Milo?
No.
So when we've got a magnet, we cannot define whether or not that magnet is pushing something away from it, also known as repelling, and whether or not it is pulling something towards it, also known as attracting. So we can't define these things, Milo.
Yeah, I'm not saying we can't define them.
Oh, so we can define whether it's pushing or pulling then, you complete bonehead.
Okay, in the case of the magnet repelling the other magnet.
Oh, right. So, but we can't with Earth. We just have to say it's one or the other and accept what you tell us, which is that it's a pulling force of Earth.
Dang, man. You don't let me talk. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm just making assertions about what you assert, and I'm absolutely correct. You're attributing causes to effects, even though you have none.
No, you're muting me after 2 words and not letting me complete a sentence. That's fine.
No, I'm not doing anything. What are you talking about? Why do you assholes accuse me of muting you?
Because we get to watch this show, and Nathan. Right after you put this on YouTube, we watch it, and we can see when we get muted.
What you mean when I talk?
Not being muted right now.
You mean when I talk? You mean when I talk and you can't be heard talking over me? Is that what you're talking about? Like now?
No, when you cut us off.
Right. Yes. So when I talk, is that what you mean?
No, when we say 2 words and then we're still.
And then I talk like I'm talking now. You think that's me muting you? When I point out that you're an idiot, that we can repel and attract, that we can have push and pull, that's not me muting you. It's pointing out that you're an idiot and a bonehead.
It's you muting us in the middle of the
sentence. No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's me pointing out that you are a bonehead.
So you don't click mute on us. You don't turn our volume down. We just
if you continually talk over me, I will shut you up.
I'm not talking about talking over you. I'm talking about when we're in the middle of a sentence.
Right, that would be me talking over you. Yeah?
Yeah, you talk over us all the
time. Right, so you're accusing me of muting you when I talk over you.
You do.
Do I talk over you?
Both.
Right, you're specifically accusing me of just one thing here. Now you're adding a second thing. So is it just that you're making accusations you can't back up?
No, you mute us and then you talk.
Oh, right. So that's now two things you're accusing me of.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Why? Are you sat here watching what I'm doing?
Because we get to watch the show when you post it on YouTube.
Yeah, and I've got a gated desk. If I talk, you don't.
Exactly.
Sorry, you're going to respond. I have a gated desk. Do you know what a gated desk is?
You going to tell me?
No, I'm asking if you know, dick brain. This is another one of those times that you'll accuse me of muting you, where I point out your stupidity. I've given an explanation. Now, I want you to tell me if you understand that or not.
When we talk and we're in the middle
No, I don't need an explanation of what happens. Do you know what a gated desk is? Yes or no?
I'm assuming when you...
Don't assume. Answer if you know what it is or not.
No.
Right. Don't make accusations you can't back up, you complete bonehead.
Okay.
Don't laugh at me. You're a pathetic little twat that accuses people like all of the other liars who we have here. You've just lied and accused me of something you've got not the vaguest notion of. You don't run hangouts. You don't have a desk. You don't have any equipment to do what I do. And yet you're telling me what I'm doing on my show, right? You're a disingenuous liar and now you're laughing. Don't lie. Don't be like Geo Streber. Don't just lie through your back teeth and laugh when you're caught out based on your absolute ignorance.
And George Nathan Oakley.
Yeah, and George Nathan Oakley. Is it that all of you ballers are just disingenuous liars who will make assertions that you can't back up continually?
So a lie is an assertion that
Excuse me, you made an assertion that you cannot back up. I've pulled it to pieces and you laughed.
A lie is an assertion you can't back up. Is that the new definition of lie?
You lied and told me explicitly that I was muting you. Then I asked you if I had a gated desk and if you knew what that was. You said no. So you've made an accusation and it is false. That would be a false accusation, otherwise known as a lie, that you have perpetuated about me.
That's fine.
Can we go back to the force?
Yes.
The magnet. When we have a magnet and it's creating a push or a pull against another object, we have the magnet, so we know there's a force there. Do we agree?
And we have the brick and we have the earth.
Hang on. If we don't have a magnet to interact against another object, but then the object moves, is the magnet that we don't have causing anything?
No.
Correct. Is someone else causing it?
Probably you have to investigate.
Yeah, you'd have to investigate. And if you couldn't determine what was causing it, then what would you say?
I would say I don't know the answer.
Correct.
But if you're trying to equate this to mass and gravity,
so if we have a brick,
how it works. We
have
actually
a brick. Listen, if we have a brick, but we've got no magnet to show that there's a force, and we drop the brick, but there's no magnet, what are we going to conclude?
For thousands of years, we concluded we didn't know until somebody discovered, wait, those things in the sky are doing the same thing that's happening here. And he measured them, and they were...
Oh, so somebody made a logical fallacy. That's interesting.
What's the logical fallacy?
If brick falls, therefore force.
That's a hypothesis.
No, that's the logical fallacy.
Oh, what a dingbat. Did you really want me to tell you a new one? That's not a hypothesis. Right, that's a formal logical fallacy that you are absolutely guilty of. A hypothesis is a scientific prediction.
It's an if-then statement.
You have to remember that this isn't how Newton came up with it. He came up with it the way I described it.
Who cares how we came up with it? My point is that there is no magnet or force that you guys can identify to prove causation.
So you asked if there was no magnet. You asked if there was no magnet, what would be happening? And with the magnet,
it's the same with a car with the engine.
Magnetic force.
We know that there's an engine in the car, and it creates a push.
Hold on, Anthony. Anthony, just let him get his words out.
Well, I mean, that's just it. The magnet needs the magnetic force needs the magnet to work. Gravity needs mass to work. So as long as there's mass there, you can find evidence. Or if you have gravity, you're going to find evidence of mass, and it's happened every time. There's only in the case of dark matter and dark energy and these kind of things that they're not purely understanding it. But with everything else and the position and the orbit of the planets and the rate things fall, they've calculated that the mass is related to the amount of gravity something's being exerted on it. So it's
you have no proof of dark mass or dark matter. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's not.
We shouldn't really bring up dark matter and dark mass. They get lost when.
We're not really bringing. We're not addressing the point. Let's go back to the engine. If vehicle moves and it's got an engine, we know that the force is being created by the engine, right? But if there's no engine to make the vehicle move, and then the engine and the vehicle starts to move all by itself, and we know there's no engine, something else is happening.
This is it, Anthony. We don't conclude that there is no force. We conclude that we don't know what the force is.
Right.
That's not what you conclude. You conclude the force is called gravity. That's precisely what you guys do. You don't conclude that you don't know what the force is. What an absolute crock of crap.
In the case of the car moving on its own, we can call that force L. We can call it X. We would give it a name. That's what we've done with gravity.
Right, but you can't identify said force, which is the point.
If a car is moving by itself, there's a force being acted upon it. Do you understand that? There's no.
Yeah, it could be rolling down a hill. Yeah, it could be rolling down a hill. It could be getting
exactly. So whether or not you know where that force came from or why that force is there, or if it's pushing or pulling, hold up. If it's pushing or pulling, it doesn't matter.
No.
Is that there's a force?
Stop. Present. You said whether or not. It's the or not bit that's the problem because it's only
you stop there. No. You stop there. You stop there. But the thing is that whether or not you know if it's a push or pull.
Not whether or not. It's whether if you can identify said force, then you know there is a force. If you can't see what's going on or you can't prove said force, then you don't know what's going on, and you have to. It's inconclusive. You don't get a conclusive answer.
Which is why I would say, hold on. Which is why I would say, gravity is a more loaded term than calling it L or X. You can't call it gravity because it's such a loaded term.
So call it downward acceleration, like Arwen does.
No, Arwen doesn't call it downward acceleration.
So what's he call it?
Downward acceleration force.
Okay, there you go. Call it that.
Right, but where's the force?
The force is in the fact that the object is moving.
No, because you don't know what's causing it.
You don't get objects. You don't just get objects moving without.
There are explanations for them, even though we don't agree on them.
So you pick the brick up, you let it go, it falls back to where you left it, where it came from.
Yeah, supposedly it has something to do with the warping of space-time, and that is the path it's now forced to go, which is towards the larger mass. And it sounds complicated, and it kind of is, but this is the explanation we have, and we've tested for this, and it does appear to be adhere to the test. So I'm fine with it. I know many people on the panel are not fine with it, but there is explanations for it.
They put cotton in their ears every time you bring that stuff up, man.
What is that weird noise?
Yeah. Someone got a voice changer.
Seems to have stopped.
It's probably the fact that my speakers are loud.
Actually, that might be Nathan. Are you there, Nathan?
No, that wasn't me.
Okay. Oh.
That's Milo.
Yeah.
It's not Milo.
Some weird stuff going. Yeah, it is.
How's it me?
I don't know. It sounds like you got a
every time you
spoke in the background.
Up, that effect started happening.
It sounded like somebody put a voice effect.
Yeah, that's what it did sound like
on my voice. I think it's fixed now.
So back to this force.
Yes.
If you can identify the force, then you can show that there's a force there, right?
No, Anthony.
If you can't identify said force, you can't prove that there's a force there.
Let's talk about a force that you agree exists. So you agree that magnetism exists, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So do you need to know why magnetism exists in order to acknowledge that it exists?
No, but you do need to show that there's a magnet causing it.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. You need to show that there's a magnet causing it.
Do we need to know why it's being caused?
No, but you need to show that there's a magnet causing it.
So we can acknowledge a force before we even know what it is.
No, you can't acknowledge a force unless you can prove a magnet. It's conditional upon proving magnet.
Yeah, you have two masses, different masses, different.
Yeah, you're getting magnetism confused with Newtonian gravity there, Milo.
What's that?
No, I have to agree with Milo. Even though kids can buy magnets and play with them, both these forces are doing some invisible, something you can't see directly.
I can see the magnet. I can see it very directly. I just look at the magnet. I can hold it. I can touch it. It's definitely doing things, and I can see it, quantify it, touch it, everything. I can touch a magnet.
You can see the effect.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, the effect of the magnet. Yes, that's correct, Milo. I can see the effect of the magnet.
Oh, that's all you can see, and we can see the effect of the downward acceleration force.
No, yeah. What's the cause, though? Yeah. What's the cause? What's the cause?
What's the cause of magnetism?
No. What's the cause of the downward acceleration force? Because you're describing an effect and then saying that it is a cause like the magnet that we can see, touch, handle, smell, sniff, examine.
Yeah, okay. What is the cause of magnetism?
Sorry, you're asking me the same question again. I've just pointed out we're not talking about magnetism. We're talking about the effect that you are attributing a cause called gravity.
No, but you just made a law. You just made a rule without even knowing it.
No, I said that I can touch, smell, taste, and examine magnets, and they are the cause of magnetism. So I can see it, touch it, smell it, taste it, examine it, test it. Yeah? Now we're asking you the same question, not about magnetism, using magnetism as a parallel with something we can touch. Now I'd like you to tell me the cause.
We go. This guy said...
Yeah, you're laughing again. I asked you for the cause, so give it me.
Yeah, the downward acceleration force.
That's not a cause, that's an effect. You seem to be stupid and not understanding the difference.
You said magnets are the cause of magnets.
Not magnets. Gravity. This is what you think. So I'm asking you to give me a cause for the effect of downward acceleration, please. Cause.
Well, as far as we know, gravity is attached to mass.
Sorry, so that's not a cause, is it? You don't just have mass causing things to drop. If I've got a brick in front of me, it has mass, but it's not dropping, is it?
Excuse me?
So, like you saying to Anthony, you can't just say mass and have that as an explanation.
Yeah, well, you can't say magnets as an explanation.
Yeah, I can. I can say magnets attract things, and then I can show a magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're asking the same thing with gravity. Please show the cause. And you seem to be reverting back to magnetism continually, even though it's been used as a parallel with something that we can actually see, touch, smell, taste, examine. So now do the same with objects falling. The effect. Don't just say objects fall, because that's the effect.
I did explain.
I'm saying that magnets...
Not magnets. Not
the same way.
Not magnets.
But okay, Nathan, you can't just stop at two words that I said.
Yeah, you're saying magnets continually, and I'm saying no. We're talking about falling objects. Nothing to do with magnets. Only to do with the effect of things falling. And you're going to give me, the cause. Not magnets. Not magnets. Objects falling. Don't start by telling me about magnets, please.
Yeah, because once we bring up magnets, you're being hypocritical. But I'll tell you, it's caused by mass. Mass attracts mass. There's no...
Oh, really? Well, that's kind of been debunked completely. Anthony, there, can you bring up the citation, please, so we can show Milo why his utter nonsense has been debunked by current mainstream science?
Do you mind if I also show you an experiment?
No, you can shut up and wait for Anthony to show why Milo is completely and utterly incorrect based on mainstream scientific understanding. Till that has happened, you will all shut your mouths.
We're going to show me...
No, you're going to shut your mouth.
Okay, so we got... Are you ready, Nathan?
Yeah, ready when you are.
Right, so it's a document that's dated the 1st of November 2015.
This is a blog.
Milo, shut your stupid mouth and listen to what he is saying. If you interrupt him when he absolutely smashes the living daylights out of your assertion that objects of mass attract one another, I will kick you out. Listen to why you are wrong. Don't be so ignorant.
So it's entitled How Einstein Revealed the Universe's Strange Non-Locality. You can find it on the internet just by looking for that. and it says physics now suggests that at the most fundamental level, the universe is non-local. There is no such thing as place or distance. Initially, Isaac Newton's concept of gravity seemed to imply the phenomena of non-locality because of the attractive forces between masses appeared to act magically across expanses. Albert Einstein's general relativity instead ascribed gravity to the curvature of space-time, yet it introduced a deeper sense of non-locality. And when we get to the relevant point, it's not that one. It's not that one. Here we go. So we have, for instance, Einstein created his general theory of relativity, which provides our modern understanding of gravity with the express purpose of expunging non-locality from physics. Isaac Newton's gravity acted at a distance as if by magic, and general relativity snapped the wand in two by showing that the curvature of space-time and not an invisible force gives rise to gravitational attraction. But whatever Einstein's intention may have been, his theory began to reveal a different side of as physicists put it to use. The workings of gravity turn out to be sparkling with non-local phenomena. In other words, Newton's gravitational attractive force is no longer considered to be current science.
Do you accept that, Anthony?
Yeah, this is what I described to everybody just right before you'd
Why are you replying? Shut up. Milo's got to address this. He's just told us that objects of mass attract each other, and it's clearly stated the wand has been snapped in two in that regard. Newton does not apply in your current science. I want Milo to address it.
Perhaps, Milo, you could read this bit in blue.
Okay,
does he know he's muted?
You're muted.
Yes, please.
Okay, sorry, I was muted. Damn, it's kind of loud right now. Was. Okay, so in that long thing that you just read, can you explain to me where it says mass does not attract mass?
Yeah, it's highlighted in blue. Would you read it, please?
I'll read it, but it doesn't say that. Isaac Newton's gravity...
sorry, well, I'll just stop you. You said it doesn't say that. So before you read it, please tell us what Isaac Newton's gravity is, please, Milo.
Okay. Can I speak without being interrupted?
No. You will first tell me, because you've just asserted before reading it that it is incorrect, and it does not prove what Anthony has said it proves. So first, you must define for me what Isaac Newton's gravity is.
Okay. Isaac Newton established and acknowledged a force between masses.
Right. Excellent. Now read it in full.
Now, Isaac Newton did not understand why...
You're not reading. Just read the paragraph.
Isaac Newton's gravity acted at a distance as if by magic, and general relativity snapped the wand in two by showing that the curvature of space-time and not an invisible force gives rises to gravitational attraction. So Isaac Newton's, he did not know why mass attracted mass, and then Einstein...
Sorry, why are you paraphrasing it like it does say what you're now saying? It doesn't say what you're now saying. You're paraphrasing it and adding bits.
First of all, we're on a blog, okay? So let's just get at this is somebody's understanding and interpretation of what science is saying.
This is you squirming, because this clearly states that the curvature of space-time and not an invisible force gives rise to gravitational attraction.
The curvature of space-time is the force. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys.
No. Contrasting Newton against Einstein.
You know it's
hold on. I don't mind addressing that. So, show us. Hold on, Milo. You've just had something thrown out by your compadre. So, the bending of space-time. Can you show that to us, please?
Yeah. So what's happening is what Newton had saw.
Not describe it. Sorry, you didn't hear my first word, which was show. Sorry, you're now describing it. You said, I said specifically, show it to me.
Yeah, I can't show you curved space-time because.
Oh really? Why not?
Because you'd have to, I don't know.
So we can't see it. So this is the cause, and unlike a magnet, which I can touch, taste, smell, examine, all of those good things about something that is plausible and quantifiable, I can't do that with bendy space-time. Is that what you're saying?
You can go watch an eclipse.
Of course you can.
and you can see the stars.
Oh, excellent. Sorry, it's okay. You can shut your mouth now. Milo is going to do it for us. Show it me, please, Milo.
The same way I can show you magnetism.
Sorry, not magnetism, a magnet.
We're not talking about a magnet. We're talking.
Yeah, we're talking about bendy space-time. So I'd like you to show that to me rather than just affirming the consequent, which is exactly what you're about to do. So show me space-time, which is a concept in and of itself, as is time. Show it me.
We can only see its effect. You don't.
Oh, so we're back to effects. So it's not a cause then.
It's a cause that causes an effect. You dumb.
Oh, excuse me. It's not. You've just said we can only see its effect, so you cannot establish the cause then, which is precisely what I just asserted, and you've just basically agreed with me.
It is the cause. That's why we can see its effect.
Oh, so you just assert that it's the cause without showing it me? Nah, screw that.
You're asserting that magnetism is the cause?
No magnets. You deaf? How many times am I going to say it?
Magnets are the cause, you dumbo.
Of magnetism? Yeah, I'm going to say that's because of a magnet that I can touch, smell, taste, qualify, look at, examine, all those good things.
You heard it here first. Magnets cause magnetism, guys.
Right, yeah, I can examine a magnet. I want you to show me bending space. Don't talk over me. Show me bending space-time.
Show me magnetism.
Hang on, Nathan, we're missing the bigger point. The bigger point is that a force is... You've got to have a force... You've got to show that there's a force there that's either pulling or pushing.
Yeah.
So you're arguing for something that is already antiquated, right? It's not the current science, but you're arguing that there's a force pulling the object down, and you're calling it gravity or gravitational attraction.
You guys want to make a distinction, but there is no distinction between Einstein and...
Yeah, there is.
No, yeah, there is. Been you complete bonehead. By Einstein.
The curvature of space-time that's supposed to be the cause, not the invisible force that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That is gravitational attraction.
The invisible force is the curvature of space-time, dude.
Right, so all right then. So in that case then, there's no force.
No, there is a force.
No, you've got a curvature of space-time.
Hold on. Milo's saying it's not an invisible force. So can you show it me? Can you show it me? Hold on. So hold on. If it's not invisible, can you make it visible for me, please?
It's not an invisible force in the way they describe it.
Yeah, I understand it. It's not an invisible force. Sure. So show it me visually.
Sure. Go away from the next
problem. The bigger problem.
Hold on, Anthony. Hold on. They've just told us it's not invisible. Do I need to define what invisible means? And the converse, which is visible? Excuse me. I am qualifying my statement. You have said it is not an invisible force. Meaning
that's
it
just
is.
Because I know that your brain is going to.
Excuse me, can you stop talking over me while I destroy your point, please? Yeah, you've said it's not invisible, so therefore it is visible.
Yeah, the force itself is not something you're going to be able to see.
Oh, so it is invisible. I'm getting very confused here. So it is an invisible force then?
Yes.
Not. Excuse me. Why am I talking to two people simultaneously? Just one at a time, please. So it both simultaneously is not an invisible force, but you cannot see it and it is invisible. So it just is an invisible force then.
Go ahead and show me magnetism.
Oh, we're back to this. How comical. So now you're asking me to show you magnetism rather than your invisible, visible, not visible, invisible force, right?
Nathan,
you don't keep using my name over again to buy yourself a bit of time. Just show it me. Make it visible for me. Because it's not invisible, right? It's not an invisible force.
Who said it's an invisible force?
Nathan, listen. The point of the force that they're claiming exists, right, has now changed from the attractive force between masses to the bending of space-time. Now, I'm pretty sure that the bending of space-time does not satisfy the definition of a force because it's neither a pull nor a push.
Anthony, the bending of space-time is what causes the attractive force between masses, you dumbo.
Yeah, but you were saying before... You were saying before that it was the attraction between masses.
So essentially Milo has now changed his position entirely after you showing him this reference from Newtonian to Einsteinian.
No, you're trying to say
yeah, that's exactly what you've done. You've said what caused it was the attraction of masses. Now you're telling us that it's the bending of space-time. So you very much have changed your position, Milo. You are stupid.
It's not changed.
Why am I now talking to you? We're talking to Milo. Is your name Milo?
I have the answer.
Shut up! Shut up or I'll kick you out. We are grilling Milo. I don't want both of you.
Nathan, that's a straw man that you're saying that Einstein is debunked Newton. It's not. That's not the case.
Sorry, do you not understand what the term snapped the wand in two?
Why do you think they said that?
Not a magical force. I'm not saying it. Don't ask me why they said it. I just know that it absolutely snapped the wand in two and showed that it is not an invisible force.
Because Newton did not know what caused this.
Oh, really? So it's caused. So you now know it's caused then?
At Newton's point...
You're stuttering. So do you now know its cause, yes or no?
From where we are right now, it's the bending of space-time.
Not an invisible force, so let's see it.
This is how Scientific America...
Excuse me. Let's see it. Let's not discuss Scientific America. Let's just show us. Show us. Show us. Stop talking over me and just show us.
You're holding me to scientific. You're holding me to Scientific America's words.
Sorry, this is your rhetoric. Yeah? You want to believe in the bending of space-time and all this crap, you have to go along with this rhetoric. I don't.
Scientific America is not a journal.
Sorry.
It's a magazine.
Nathan,
what's your point?
It's not.
Okay.
It's someone's opinion.
So you're saying that. Hold on. So let me just get it straight, Milo. Are you saying that Einsteinian principles did not overtake Newtonian principles?
No.
So it is actually what Newton suggested then. An invisible force that attracts masses to one another.
Yes, because he didn't know what that force was called for.
Sorry, so it is that because he didn't know. That doesn't make any sense, Milo. Do you understand? What? Doesn't make any sense that he does know because he doesn't know. That makes no sense.
No, he did. Yes, he did not know what caused.
So again, you're saying it twice. So he did know because he did not know. That makes no sense.
No, Nathan, there's no. Where did I say he did know?
So he did know.
Shut up.
So he did know. So he did know because he didn't know.
Are you really doing this right now, Nathan?
Yeah, I am. These are your words that you have said to us, and I am using them against you. That is precisely what I do to idiots like you.
When did I say that Newton knew why masses attracted each other?
Sorry, you said objects of mass attract one another. That's what you said. Yeah. You state that as your cause.
Oh my God.
What do you mean, oh my God? Don't blaspheme. That's what you did, you complete dingbat.
So all I proved.
You're embarrassing. You're such an embarrassment to your globehead friends, Milo. You are an embarrassment. You realise that?
All I proved was the
force. Didn't prove anything, you complete dingbat. If you proved it, you'd go through the scientific method.
And Nathan, I have.
Before you round out the show, can I please have a couple of minutes to make a concession statement, which I feel is really important to do?
A what?
A concession statement.
You want to concede something?
Yes.
Can I just check that we are live and being recorded, Nathan?
Yeah, I know.
I know. Live, yeah. I know. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. You don't have to ask permission.
All right. Okay. So if Milo can just shut the hell up with his stupid gravitational pull bullshit for a second, I can. I've had a long and careful thought, and we went over the definitions of force and everything. And I have to conclude that force indeed, by the official standard, by the official concept, is only directly related to acceleration motion. In that sense, I have to concede that downward acceleration force is incorrect, and henceforth I'm going to call it upward acceleration effect, because there is an effect, and it is exactly as if the whole Earth is moving upward and in an accelerating fashion. There's no proof of this, so I'm not going to call it a force. It is simply an effect, and it seems to respond exactly like force. It has all the properties of it. There's no proof of it, so I will call it upward acceleration effect from now on. So, yeah, there you go, Anthony. I hope you're happy now.
Well, that's absolutely splendid. And with that, I will say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do, but if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!